This week's edition of Governor Obiano's Narratives of Excellence will focus on the development of the oil and gas sector in Anambra State. As Anambra State joins the League of fully recognized oil-producing states in Nigeria, it is important to remember that this achievement did not come by chance. In fact, it is a result of several years of efforts from Governor Willie Obiano, but more importantly, Chief Willie Obiano had singled out the oil and gas sector as one of the key pillars of his economic blueprint.
You know, when I came in 2014, I said that I want Anambra to be the first choice investment destination and a hub for economic and commercial activity. I also said in my mission, we want to create a socially stable, business-friendly environment where indigenous and non-indigenous alike will have opportunity for wealth creation. It is this vision and mission that we package through a blueprint, and from there we have the 4 pillars and the 14 enablers. On the pillar side, you have agriculture, trade and commerce, oil and gas, and industrialization. Right from the onset, oil and gas was a pillar in my overall concepts.
Quite remarkably, the first thing Governor Obiano did in the oil and gas sector after resuming office was in the area of formulating policies that would drive the development of oil and gas in the state and help the state scale past the avoidable mistakes made by other oil-bearing states before it.
And I quickly did something a month after I was sworn in by getting the House to approve the Oil and Gas Development Agency. We also quickly followed with an Oil and Gas Advisory Board, earlier being headed by late engineer Eboga, and they went to work.
Obiano's mandate to the committee was to draft a comprehensive blueprint for the oil and gas sector within 18 months and advise the state on the requisite steps that will lead to being fully recognized and accorded the full privileges of an oil-producing state.
The first thing we did was to go to DPR to find out who is prospecting in Anambra and where. Our findings were not comprehensive then until 2016, when somebody we didn't include, we found out was already producing oil and selling through Delta State, that is SIBCO, Oil and Gas Company Limited. So we went full blast on SIBCO for such an act. A lot of pressure, we mounted a lot of pressure on SIBCO. We involved the Senate Committee on Ethics, who visited SIBCO 2 times. They invited us and SIBCO to appear before the Senate. We did. There were all kinds of pressure we mounted, and we followed this things with letters to the Minister of Petroleum Resources and Water Bill.
Indeed, Governor Willie Obiano has never rested on his oars to ensure that Anambra State comes into the fullness of the glory of our natural endowments. On November 5th, 2020, Governor Obiano summoned SIBCO, an Indian oil company that has been exploring oil in Anambra State illegally for a while, to a meeting with the necessary stakeholders. The meeting, which took place at Golden Tulip Aguli Lake Hotel, Agolo, sought to encourage SIBCO to legitimize its exploratory activities in the upstream sector in the state.
At the execution of this project we're here today, it was observed the SIBCO did not obtain all the required regulatory permits before ever embarking on drilling at the site. This was a clear violation of Section 62 of the Environmental Impact Assessment Act. Consequent upon this, a stop work order dated the 6th of July 2020 was issued by the Ministry of Environment to SIBCO on the legal activities. But beyond the stop work order, I want to state clearly here today that my ministry shall ensure that the full extent of the law is brought to bear on any erring party.
It urged SIBCO to sign standard agreements with the state and the host communities in line with global best practices that guide oil prospecting and exploration. Before that meeting, some indigents of some oil-bearing communities were at each other's throats over the sharing of the compensations that trickled down from the oil mining company, which were poorly distributed amongst them. But the stakeholders meeting restored normalcy and paved way for the push for a proper recognition of the state as an oil-producing state by the presidency.
We wrote the presidency when I was very sure of our facts. We now wrote the presidency and said, we have the following oil companies prospecting oil in our state, and these are their wells. Trust the president, he set up a team to investigate our claim. And when he found out that our claim was legit, he approved that we become an oil and gas producing state, and that culminated to the letter that was signed on his behalf by the Chief of Staff. The stage we are in now is that the Oil and Gas Advisory Committee, are working with DPR to ascertain the quantum of oil already produced by these companies and sold.
But perhaps the most important thing Governor Obiano did after he was sworn in was to flag off the construction of the 280 meters Aguleri-Otu bridge across the Omambala River to the oil field in Aguleri-Otu, which before now could only be accessed through neighboring towns in Enugu State. Governor Obiano also constructed the Umueje Bridge on the southern flank. These two bridges have opened up the oil-rich communities of Anambra East and boosted agricultural production in the area.
After all this pressure, we were able to be listed as oil and gas producing. My administration will not benefit much from it because I'm already on my way out, but if you put this in side by side with landmark things that we have done, the airport project, which will soon be commissioned at the back of being an oil and gas producing state, and of course the International Conference Center, the Golden Tulip Hotel, the Onitsha Shopping Mall. These are legacy projects of this administration that people will remember me for long after I've gone. So I'm very happy, I'm very delighted that we are now an oil producing state.
As in the Anambra and friends of Anambra State celebrate the admission of their beloved state into the community of oil-producing states in Nigeria, it is important to remember that it is a celebration of Governor Obiano's vision, his pursuit of excellence, and his determination to place a crown of glory on Anambra State.